Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this month's webinar from Kinetics and Data. It's regarding practical AI and what you can expect from Microsoft 365 Copilot. It's a fascinating topical topic, and we've had a very high number of registrations, so we're looking forward to getting into it. Thank you, firstly, for taking time out of your busy schedules. I'd like to introduce Lauren from Data. She is our specialist from a Microsoft 365 perspective and modern workplace, and she'll be going through some specifics about Microsoft Copilot, its practical applications, and some of the features. Also, at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A, and let me just quickly run through with you some housekeeping so that we can all be on the same page. So firstly, the session will be recorded and is being recorded now and will be available after the chat. Your microphones are currently on mute. Please feel free to use the chat function within Teams to ask questions, and we will follow up either during the session or at the end at the Q&A. And we'll post a copy of this presentation for your reference so that you can share not only the video, but the PowerPoint presentation with your teams to educate them. So look, this is a really exciting topic, and I think it's a really exciting time to be in the IT sector. My wife's father, who is my father-in-law, obviously, he's 80 years old, and he came up to me just after his 80th birthday when we were catching up with him, and he said, "I believe this ChatGPT and AI is a real game changer." I was like, well, where's that come from? You know, he's a guy who, yes, he uses mobile devices, and he regularly goes and sees his regular sites for keeping up with sport and the likes. But to hear those words come out of his mouth was quite a revelation to me. And if you think about it, we've got some really high-profile events with regards to AI, the likes of the Watson Jeopardy Challenge, which was 2013. That was 10 years ago, when Watson, the AI-driven technology from IBM, developed a winning strategy for winning Jeopardy. Then we've had ChatGPT. This is really prevalent across a lot of businesses and across society. And we've now got Copilot, which is capturing the public's interest. I think it's a really exciting time to be in IT. And Kinetics, we're fascinated by this I suppose, wave of new technology that's come through, and we actually eat our own dog food. So we've actually invested in a product called Peer. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about how we went about that process. So firstly, let me talk about the Kinetics use cases and actually why we decided that it was important to invest in Peer AI. Well, firstly, to assist our coordination to reduce level 1 tickets. So this is a tool that we can actually use to automate some of those processes. So automation is one of the keys that we see AI being able to be used in a practical way. Secondly, we've looked at ways to free up time of our remote team to respond to more urgent tickets. So that's a productivity gain that we look to get from using this technology. The third thing that we've done is we've looked at better time to resolve our tickets, which should lead to customer satisfaction, reduce time to respond, reduce time to close. And then finally, we've allowed the team more time for scheduling, coaching, and skill development. And so that really leads to opportunities to develop our staff. So what is this technology that we're using? Well, it's not Copilot. It's actually a more specific focused AI that we're using in our day-to-day core business. So if we've got a remote desk, this is our core application called ConnectWise, and ConnectWise now integrates with this tool called Peer. So when we're logging tickets, whether it's remotely via email or whether we're logging them from an inbound call or by an engineer, we've got the opportunity to pick up on key signals using Peer to automate the process. So we then look at how that works. Well, basically, if you have a basic query like, can you help me add or remove someone from groups? Well, what it does is it actually looks at the key tasks that have to be taken place. The AI itself, Peer AI, actually uses scripts and gets logons to our system to actually start that process. And then It goes even to a deeper level to go into mail-enabled security groups and distribution lists, and then the process that have to happen to make that simple request happen. So for us, that's a huge productivity gain. And when it comes down to it, it's going to achieve those key goals. So when you're thinking about practical AI, what could be more practical than using AI with Microsoft applications? For your business, be thinking about ways to automate, ways to think about productivity gains, ways to think about service improvement, and ways to actually add to your staff's development and their day-to-day jobs. So, without further ado, over to Lauren to take us through what's on offer from some practical use cases, and also what variations of Copilot are available. Over to you, Lauren.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
Cool. So move on to the next section, which is I'll be introducing Microsoft 365 Copilot. So what I'm going to cover in this section is I'll talk about what Microsoft Copilot is, the Microsoft Copilot suite, so all the different types of Copilots that are becoming available. I'm also going to talk about responsible AI and talk about the security and compliance behind Microsoft Copilot, and then cover how you can use it within the Microsoft 365 apps and some use cases. So what is Microsoft 365 Copilot? So Copilot is an AI-powered productivity assistant that it leverages the power of large language models and your data in the Microsoft Graph. So that is your calendar, emails, chats, documents, meetings, all of that data with the Microsoft apps to create a powerful productivity tool. And it's done all within sticking to Microsoft's existing commitments to data security and privacy. The reason it's called Copilot and not Autopilot is because it's designed to be a digital assistant that works alongside you. So it's not designed to replace the work that you do, but it's meant to help with those time-consuming tasks that take you away from doing more productive and more innovative work. So what do we know about work today? I think we can all agree that we have too many emails and too many meetings and not enough uninterrupted time to focus. And the statistics from Microsoft 2023 Work Trends Index support this. So as you can see, we know that 60% of employees say that they don't always have the time and energy to do their jobs, and that they spend too much time looking for information. Meanwhile, leaders and managers are concerned about the diminishing breakthrough ideas and innovation. On a positive note, we also know that a greater percentage, 70%, say that they would be more open to having AI help them with their jobs, and leaders are 2 times more likely to want to use AI to increase productivity. So with that, I'm excited to show you how you'll be able to use Copilot within your business. Firstly, Microsoft have launched several different Copilots. So as you can see here, I've listed 7, and these are all bringing AI-powered features to a whole range of Microsoft services. So there's 3 that I'm going to explain, which is the main ones that you'll likely be seeing and hearing about, which is Microsoft 365 Copilot, Bing Chat Enterprise, and Windows Copilot. So Windows Copilot is integrated in Windows 11, and it leverages Bing Chat and ChatGPT to help you be more productive by either answering questions or taking actions for you within Windows. So without you needing to switch between apps. So for example, you can use Copilot in Windows to take a screenshot of something or to change a setting, like change to dark mode. You can use it to summarize a PDF that you're reading in Microsoft Edge. And that's rolling out now in the latest version of Windows 11 at no extra cost. So you may start seeing that pop up on your PC in the near future. There's Bing Chat, which offers an AI-powered web search and answers, complete with citations, so you can verify your answers. And you can access that in the sidebar of Microsoft Edge. And you can use Bing Chat to do things like summarize a PDF you're reading in Edge, to plan a business trip, to generate social media content. You can ask it to help you understand the implications of business decisions, like explain the pros and cons to a marketing strategy, heaps of different things. And then the Bing Chat Enterprise, this brings commercial data protection to Bing Chat. And that means that any user or business data is protected and doesn't leave the organization. So the chat data isn't saved and it's not used to train any underlying AI models. So that's the difference between the kind of publicly available free Bing Chat one and then the Bing Chat Enterprise, which is included in certain Microsoft licenses. And finally, Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is the Copilot I'll be focusing on today. That has all of the capabilities of Bing Chat Enterprise, but it takes it to a whole nother level as it leverages those large language models along with your Microsoft data and then works alongside the Microsoft 365 apps. So it's integrated in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. So Microsoft 365 Copilot is going to be a paid add-on to your existing Microsoft licenses, and it's $30 USD per user per month. And that is going to be, so currently, while Bing Chat Enterprise and Windows Copilot are rolling out now, Microsoft 365 Copilot is coming in the future. So it's on its way, but it's a few more months until that becomes more generally available. There are some other Copilots here as well. So if you are a customer that uses something like Salesforce or use Dynamics 365, then you can look at Sales Copilot. If you're using Power Platform, there's other specific Copilots for those platforms as well. So to talk about security, Microsoft Copilot is compliant with Microsoft's existing privacy, security, and compliance commitments to commercial customers, so including GDPR and the European Union data boundary. So this means that prompts, responses, and data that's accessed through the Microsoft Graph aren't used to train any of the underlying AI models, including those that are used by Copilot. Microsoft's cloud runs on trust, and since data is the fuel that powers this AI technology, you need to be able to trust that your technology partners and know what they're doing with your data. There are three fundamental promises that Microsoft makes, and the first being that your data is your data. It's not Microsoft's data, it's your data. So it means that it's yours to own and yours to control, and you get to choose how you want to leverage your own data. Second being that your data does not get used to train or enrich the foundation AI models that are used by others. So you don't have to worry about anyone else other than your own organization benefiting from AI that is trained on your data. Only your organization can access the benefits from the data that in your business processes. And finally, that your data and the AI models are protected at every step by the most comprehensive enterprise compliance and security controls in the industry. So yeah, that's the commitment from Microsoft to you when it comes to using these AI tools, and this should give you the confidence that you can leverage these tools within your business. I also want to touch on a new Copilot copyright commitment, as while AI generated content has a lot of potential to revolutionize a lot of the ways that we work, it has raised concerns about the risk of IP infringement claims. So to address this, Microsoft had created or announced a new Copilot copyright commitment. And what that means is that if a third party sues a commercial customer for copyright infringement for using Microsoft's Copilot or the output that it generates, Microsoft will defend the customer and pay the amount of any adverse judgments or settlements that result from a lawsuit. So as long as you are kind of following the guardrails and the content filters that are built into these products, Microsoft will defend the customer if that ever comes happen. So the reason they launched this is for several reasons. Firstly, that Microsoft believe in standing behind their customers when they use their products. So if your use of this product creates any legal issues, it's their problem rather than yours. Secondly, that they are sensitive to the concerns of authors and believe that Microsoft, rather than their customers, should assume the responsibility to address them. And then finally, they've built in guardrails and protections into the products to respect authors' copyrights. There are some important considerations to think about in this program. So they do recognise that there are potential ways that technology and AI technology can be used to generate harmful content. So to protect this, customers do need to use the content filters that are in these products and mustn't attempt to generate any infringing materials, including not providing anything or inputting anything into Copilot that you don't have the appropriate rights to use. So by launching this Copilot copyright commitment, Microsoft is aiming to provide customers the confidence that they can use these new AI services coming to Microsoft 365. We already have some data available that shows the potential that Copilot promises to improve productivity from GitHub Copilot, which was the first Copilot tool that Microsoft launched. So among the developers who used GitHub Copilot, 88% said that they were more productive, 74% said they could focus more on satisfying work, and 77% said that it helped them spend less time searching for information and examples. I'm now going to show you some ways that you can use Copilot within the Microsoft 365 apps. So Copilot in Word is going to help by writing, editing, summarizing, and creating documents alongside you. So it's going to jumpstart that creative process. So you could use it to do things like create a summary of a document that you want to either share as a recap or use to quickly get up to speed on the content. You can use it to rewrite a paragraph, or you can use it to save time on formatting by asking Microsoft to generate, asking Copilot to generate a table from your copy. You can also use it to create images as well. So it has Microsoft Designer there, which can pull from stock images or from uploads from your own computer, and then create custom images for your Word documents. And there's some more examples on the screen here as well. Next, in Outlook. So Copilot in Outlook is going to help you stay on top of your inbox and create impactful communication in a fraction of the time. So it can do things like summarize an email thread and suggest action items, replies, or follow-ups for you. There's a Sound Like Me feature, which will mean it will match your unique writing style and your voice. And also a follow along feature, which you can so you can follow along to a meeting, and when you do that, the meeting organizer will be notified to record it, and Outlook Copilot and Outlook will notify you when that recording is ready. So if you miss a meeting, you're able to catch up on it afterwards. Copilot in Excel will enable anyone to analyze and visualize data like a data analyst. So you can use Copilot to access advanced analytics and create professional visualizations or generate forecasts. It can help you with sorting through data or adding formula columns. You can use it to help highlight key data with prompts like ask it to make all cells red if the value is under 1,000. So you could do prompts like that. You can get it to help you sort through your data and help with uncovering insights as well. You can also get it to explain kind of why certain figures. So if you create pivot tables as well, so there's heaps of different functions in Excel you'll be able to use. The next one is PowerPoint. So in PowerPoint, Copilot will help you create, summarize, and organize your presentations. So some examples in PowerPoint is you can give Copilot a Word document, and then it can create a presentation from that, and you can use it to help with the designing of your PowerPoints as well. So you can get it to generate images to help with the formatting, summarize it into bullet points so you can make your slides more concise if they've got quite a lot of words. So there's heaps of ways to generate PowerPoint slides in Copilot as well. And then in Teams. So the Copilot in Teams is going to help with heaps of different aspects of collaboration. So in the chat part of Teams, it can summarize up to 30 days of chat content prior to the last message in any chat. So it can look at the last 30 days of your messages and your separate conversations, and then highlight any main points, any actions or decisions that you've had through those conversations. And then in meetings, it can summarize key discussion points, including who said what and where people were aligned and where they disagree, and then summarize and suggest action items for post the meeting as well. There's also another product that is available now of Microsoft in Teams Premium, which is available now if you're wanting to get started with some of these AI features just for the Teams piece. And what that does is there's an intelligent recap feature. So it basically summarizes everything that was discussed in your meeting, and you can then see what was discussed. You can see who talked during the meeting and at what times. It can give you your action items. So that part of the AI features in Teams is now available. So if that is something you want to start exploring in the context of Teams, you can look at that through Teams Premium. The last feature I want to mention is the new Microsoft 365 chat. So this is an entirely new kind of experience that's come to Microsoft 365. And this is a chat that goes across all of your data. So rather than just being specific to the context of one app, it looks across all your emails, files, meetings, chats, documents, calendar, so all of your data. And so it's kind of, you can look at it as being a knowledge navigator. So it looks at the information from all of these sources, and then you can ask it to do different questions. So you could ask it questions related to projects you're doing, or with planning for like timelines, and it looks across all of that data. So not just the particular document or the particular kind of email you're working at in Outlook or in PowerPoint, but rather across the whole Microsoft suite. So that's coming as well with Copilot. There are heaps of different ways that you can use Copilot and use Copilot in the Microsoft apps, whether you're in different teams, so HR, sales, marketing, there's heaps of different use cases for it. I'm going to cover a couple. So I'm going to cover a use case for an HR team and also for a marketing team. So starting with using Copilot in HR. So some of the ways you could do it in an HR specific role is to help create more impactful emails in Outlook. So you can get Copilot to help suggest how you can deliver sensitive information, or it can give you coaching tips to help improve email clarity or the tone, and then you can modify that as well. So any content that Copilot creates for you, you can continue to modify that. You can also use it to summarize documents. So if you've got lengthy kind of policy documents, Copilot can summarize that into a concise list of bullet points if you need to pass that information on to employees. And you can also use it to generate things like interview questions. So if you've got, if you're hiring or doing a new kind of job role, you can use it to generate questions as well. So if we look at this here, this is like a day in your life of a recruiting manager. So I'm going to go through a particular HR situation. So if this is for a company called Contoso, and then Omar is the recruiter. So the hiring process in this case used to involve a lot of tedious tasks, but with Copilot, they were able to maximize the efficiency and focus on what the recruiting manager does best, which is finding the perfect candidate. So in Outlook, Copilot surfaces the urgent message from the design team, which is that they need to hire a UI designer for a major project and fast. And so instead of spending time trying to craft the perfect job description, he is able to use Copilot to write one for him. And then he's able to add the job description to a loop workspace where the hiring manager, who's able to use Copilot to suggest it to be rewritten in a more friendlier tone. And then after the job description is created and posted, Omar reviews the CVs that come in and sets up the interviews. During the interview process, Copilot captures notes while the hiring manager screens the candidate. So while that Teams meeting is happening, it can generate notes about what's been talked about. And then so they can quickly locate those details from the notes with specific prompts and by asking questions. Once Omar shares the top candidate resumes with the hiring manager and prompts Copilot to share the most important information from the notes. And then after they make that decision, they're able to use Copilot to draft the offer letter. So you can see that Copilot is able to work in kind of all of the stages of the hiring process, right from drafting the job description to the interview and then the follow-up and doing creating the offer afterwards. The next example is for marketing. So you could use Copilot to suggest ideas for a seasonal marketing campaign to start some brainstorming in a live Teams meeting. It can also be used to generate event taglines or ideas for social media to help with that kind of writer's block in Word, and also create presentations. So one of the cool features I mentioned earlier is it being able to create a presentation fully designed for you just based off a Word document that you've created. So if we look at the day in your life of a marketing manager, in this case, the marketing manager at Contoso is wanting to highlight in this how Copilot can help with that brainstorming process. So for this use case, Contoso is expanding its flagship product into a new market, and the team has been asked to help to plan and launch promotions for it. So they meet in teams and to discuss the market research and build customer profiles. And Dutchie, who's the marketing manager here, has asked Copilot to capture all of the ideas that are talked about during the team's meeting and to summarize a key point that is discussed. Then they're able to start a Word document and ask Copilot to create a targeted promotion plan based on the meeting notes, so based on what they discussed during that meeting. When it's time for promotional copy, he's able to ask Copilot to suggest taglines and suggest taglines for that. So even if you're like really proficient with writing, it can give you a good starting point. After that, he wants to nail the presentation and show it to the marketing leadership. So he asks Copilot in PowerPoint to create slides based off the plan that they've created. the plan that is created by Copilot is longer, so then you can ask Copilot to kind of consolidate that as well. So you can continuously use Copilot to modify the content it generates as well. So if it generates, in this case, like a presentation that's really long, you can ask it to add more images or to reduce the text into being more concise bullet points. And once that's ready, the presentation is ready, he knows that busy execs don't have a lot of time for emails, so he's asking Copilot in Outlook to help create an email that's short and friendly with the attachment and then sends it off. So here's just another example of how it's able to support the entire process. Cool. So that's kind of all the things I wanted to show you from the Microsoft 365 Copilot. We've got some time for questions, so if you have any, feel free to pop them in the chat now and we can answer those for you.
So thank you, Lauren. That's amazing what came out of those use cases. If I take us, Kinetics, as an example, we don't have a dedicated marketing person and we don't have a dedicated HR person. So it's often down to either the individual hiring managers or line managers to do those tasks. So looking at ways to automate those types of processes is a huge productivity gain for us as a business, and as many of our customers look to be a similar size to us, they often don't have those dedicated resources as well. So I think you can see that some really practical ways that Copilot can be put to use, particularly around those other use cases you were showing for working with PowerPoint, working with Excel, working with the core Microsoft applications. Really exciting stuff.
There's a chat question here, which is for any notes to be summarized when the team does, the meeting need to record it. Yes. So for the notes to be automatically generated, the recordings and transcription needs to be on in Teams meetings. And to answer that next question, the slides and recordings will be available after this as well.
That's fine. I think one of the things that I will talk about is our next webinar next month, and that is how can you deploy AI within your environment. So as I showed at the start of the session, Kinetics eats its own dog food and has deployed AI technology within its ticket management process and use with our core service delivery. But each of you are going to have your own use cases. So we want to work closely with you to understand what they are and get you ready for this coming wave. As I said, it's a very exciting opportunity in the IT industry at the moment for real business productivity gains, and the practical nature of AI is something that we want to help you navigate and make sure it's fit for purpose.
Matt, so we have one question there, when it's available. So maybe is there a quick, is there some dates we could release in terms of that? Sorry, Scott here. In terms of dates available and what licensing is required for the functionality? Is that...
Yeah, so for Microsoft Copilot, the license that's required is Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, or Microsoft 365 E3, E5. So those are the base licenses you need, and then it's an add-on on top of that. In terms of the date it's available, it's currently in the early adopter program, which means that is with organizations Microsoft has invited to test it. It's going to become, we don't have a date for when it's going to be available in New Zealand for like SMB customers. For some really large enterprise customers, it will be available in November, but that's quite large enterprise customers. For more of our market, the date isn't released yet, but they're expecting to release a GA, like generally available date, in the next few months. So at the moment, the focus is preparing for that and making sure customer environments are ready to adopt it.
So it's coming, but no drop dead date as at this stage. Another good question here from Tala. How do you protect sensitive data from training the AI model from staff outside management, for example? So Lauren was talking about that in the session. Your thoughts, Lauren?
Yeah, so that's where I think it's really important to have within your business a policy kind of around AI and how it's used. So because these Microsoft tools, so the Microsoft 365 Copilot and Bing Chat Enterprise, those both have that commercial data protection. So your data does not leak outside the organization, not used to train underlying AI models. making sure that your staff by making those tools available to your staff and kind of making aware of them will help make sure that they are using those and not third-party product tools. Because the problem of using something like ChatGPT or another third-party kind of AI product is that you don't have that same level of security. So it will need to kind of be about what policy you have within your business, and then by making these secure products available and getting them to use that will help avoid them using another product.
And also our next webinar is your business AI ready. We'll go into things like that. What policies do you have in place? What are the things that are going to affect your business processes? And how can you make sure from a operational perspective you're protected and that the use of these tools are in line with what the company expects? So look, thank you everyone. We've come to the end of the session. I think we've got no further questions. There is one here, which says, I've been accepted to preview, but doesn't seem to be working for me. I've got Windows 11 Copilot preview, but not the app on my E5. Is there anyone I can check with? Well, we can certainly help with that. So we'll get back to you on this and give you a pathway to be able to utilize that.
And just to add to that as well, because there are the different types of Copilot, so the Windows one is becoming available now. The same with Bing Chat one, the Microsoft 365 one isn't available yet. So that also could be, so the Copilot in Microsoft apps isn't out yet, but the one for Windows is. But yeah, Nets can help you with that.
Very good. All right.
There was also one more question I wanted to add here. There was someone who asked if we could share a summary of the session as an example. We don't have that for this particular session. I have been testing. I have Teams Premium for some other meetings. It's possible that through you, Matt, I could provide some examples of other meetings I've had and what those generated notes look like that you could pass on.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Look, thank you for joining today. I hope you found this session useful. Look out for news and dates for our next session, which will be coming out shortly. And thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers.